All right, back here under the roof at Fort Myers, Nathan Eovaldi, starting pitcher of the Boston Red Sox, joining us. You've been here for like already a week and a half. First rain we've seen, right? When you get the first workouts, you don't have to do all those PFP, pitcher's fielding practice. You have to go running around off the mound today.
Yeah, I've been here for about a week, and not one drop of rain. And then today, of course, it wants to rain all day, and it gets us out of doing some PFPs.
Raining on your birthday, 29th birthday. Yeah. Happy birthday!
Thank you.
Little different off season for you, right? I guess every off season has its own sort of journey. You've dealt with injuries through some. This year, you go from a parade, you're a free agent, you get a contract, you have a baby.
Yeah.
Pretty busy off season for you.
Yeah, we definitely had a busy off season. Getting home, a month later than I've ever had before. November, and taking it easy, and we got Thanksgiving, all the holidays coming up, and then right after the holidays, we, new addition to the family, little baby girl. So everything's been great.
We came on the air after that World Series game, the 18-inning game, and we said, one of the first things I said, that's one of the greatest pitching performances in World Series history. And I know it came in a loss, and I know that's what you walked off the mound thinking about. You win the World Series. At what point do you get to sit down and sort of look back on that whole season and let the perspective of what you accomplished sink in?
Yeah, I want to say just everything as a whole. You look back at the season, the way it all started to the way it ended, and being able to contribute the way I did in the World Series, it means a lot to me. And at the time, of course, all I was focusing on was the loss at the time, and for us to be able to come back the next two games and play ball the way we did and come out on top, that means everything to me. So
you come into that game in the 12th inning, and Alex tells a story like every inning. How you doing? I got another inning. At one point, how you doing? You're looking for your bat because you're going to have to drop a bunt because you're going to come up. Was there ever a point where you weren't sure if you could go the next inning?
No, I just try to keep it simple and just keep thinking about just one inning at a time. Just go out there, work on that first pitch strike, and just try to keep things simple. I knew I was, hopeful that our bats were going to come through, and we were going to be able to put out some runs. And I knew that if we did score a run, that I wanted to be the guy to go back out there and finish the inning. So in a way, I was almost thinking two more innings. So.
When we talk about the postseason, we tend to dwell on that World Series, but you had a great postseason, obviously. The start against the Yankees in Game 3, I think it gets overlooked because it was such a big offensive output for the Red Sox. But for you personally, to get the ball, Game 3, series tied 1-1, maybe the most important game of the playoffs at that point. To get the ball in that situation, what was that like for you?
Yeah, it was awesome. I felt like every game in the postseason, it was a big moment, in its own way. But yeah, for the team to trust me and be able to take that ball in Game 3, and I was locked in. I felt from the beginning of the game and going forward, and we were able to score runs early, which any time in the postseason that helps out because you have your bullpen back behind you in case you get in trouble, and they're able to come in and get the job done. So for me to be able to go out there and throw the way I did, especially against the Yankees, it was a special moment for me.
I thought in a lot of ways that was the turning point of the postseason. This was a team, you hadn't been here obviously, but back-to-back division titles, but they hadn't won a first-round series, and there was almost that little bit of can they get over that hump. I thought, 1-1, losing Game 2 to the Yankees. That statement win, 16-1, you could almost feel the confidence build throughout the clubhouse.
Yeah, absolutely. You start the series 0-0, but you always want to be the team out on top. Even if they tie it up, you want to be able to come back out that next day and get that win. And for us to come out and do the things we did, Brock went off that night. He was able to have a unbelievable night and do well for us, and we were able to just keep tacking on the runs. And anytime you can kind of take their bullpen, and do some damage to them, it helps us out a lot.
We had the event with the World Series DVD premiere, the film premiere. I know you weren't there. I emceed it. And anytime your name came up, crowd went nuts. And I know Brock called you right afterwards and said, you got to hear what's going on. Did you understand in those days, weeks before you signed, how much people were clamoring for you to come back to the Red Sox?
Yeah, once Brock, called me after that, after the movie and stuff, and just was telling me how much the fans, had admired me and, were really rooting for me to come back. It was a special moment for me. I get goosebumps thinking about it, and then watching being able to watch the World Series, the movie and everything. It was awesome.
Considering what you've been through, 2 Tommy Johns, you've had to fight for everything you've gotten in this game. How nice was it to feel that, to get the contract, to know you come to a place where they wanted you so much?
That's the thing, is just being able to come back to a team that I know I was wanted, and I know everybody here, and even though it was such a short time last year, I felt like I'd been here for most of my career, and all the guys and the staff, they've welcomed me in so fast, and everybody's unbelievable, and just to be able to say I'll be here for the next 4 years, it's awesome.
All right, when you win a World Series, everybody talks about turning the page. We're going to take a break, come back and turn the page, talk about 2019 with Nathan Eovaldi as we continue. Red Sox from Fort Myers, presented by Jordan's Furniture, the furniture store of the Boston Red Sox. Back here at rainy Fort Myers, but you don't shovel rain, so nobody here is complaining about it. I know there's snow back home. Nathan Eovaldi continuing our conversation as we look ahead to the 2019 season. Coming into this team as you did with such an established rotation, and we're kind of at a point in the game where that's going away, right? Bullpens are more important. It's a little bit of a throwback where you got 5, 6, maybe 7 guys, legitimate big league starters. What was it like to be around a Chris Sale, a Rick Porcello, a David Price? What did you learn from those type of guys?
Yeah, I mean, you say those guys' names, and everybody knows who they are. Everything that they bring and contribute for the team. It's I was just coming in, I just wanted to learn everything they do, watch how they go about their business and stuff. And I mean, each one is different in their own ways, but really just talking to them during the games, you get to learn more about, how to attack hitters, how they attack hitters, what you can add to your game, what the little ways for you to get ahead.
Yeah, and you're not a guy who just grabs it and throws it. You've evolved as a pitcher over time. The cutter became a really important part of your arsenal. I know you had it back with the Dodgers, right, all the way back, and then kind of put it away for a while and brought it back. Why has that become an important pitch for you again?
Yeah, I mean, just it gets the hitters off my fastball. For me, I'm able to. Earlier this year, I started just throwing it on the glove side, and then now when I came over to the Red Sox, we started, front dooring some righties and things like that, and it's really just been another weapon for me. If I'm behind in the count, I can have another pitch that I can rely on to throw a good strike with. I feel like that's kind of always been my issue, is just being able to command my off-speed pitches. Sometimes I'll try and do it, and it puts me in a deeper count and a deeper hole, and you have to make that perfect pitch to get out of it, and hitters are so good nowadays, they don't really miss.
Brian Bannister is such a great asset here, a guy who pitched, but also can sort of make the analytics understandable. Talked to a lot of pitchers. It's one thing to get the numbers. It's another thing to have a guy who understands what that means. Has he been a help for you?
Yeah, Banny's been awesome for me. He's, he's really helped me understand the analytics side of it. He's also been able to just explain to me better of the things I'm doing wrong, and it's quick too. We're using the Pitch FX and Rapsodo machines, and the information's right there, right after you throw a pitch. So, I can give him my feedback, what I think about pitches, and he's able to understand it, him and Dana, and they sit there and they talk, and, you're not wasting 10, 15 pitches in your bullpen session when you only have 30 or 40 to work with. You're able to stop right there and kind of progress, make the adjustments that you need to.
You had one of the best walk rates in the American League. The strike swing and miss rate was up for you. What was the key to all that? Was a lot of that the cutter? Guys are chasing the cutter so they're getting the strikes earlier?
Yeah, I think the cutter helps out a lot. I mean, you make a good fastball away, and then you're able to throw a cutter off of that, and they have to kind of respect the fastball. So, guys are putting it into play. They're not hitting it as well, and I'm able to get quicker outs and go deeper into games, which helps. And really just kind of simplifying everything, making things easier and just challenge the hitters. You want to get ahead 0-1 as opposed to 1-0. I mean, you look at the stats, and the hitters they crush the balls when they're ahead 1-0 as opposed to 0-1, and you want to be ahead, and you take that chance of them being able to step in the box and hit your fastball or hit the cutter on that first pitch.
You're back as a starter, obviously. Somebody just asked Alex Cora at the press conference, do you ever think of Nathan Eovaldi being a closer? And he said, no, he's part of our rotation. October, we'll see, he said, and everyone kind of chuckled. But what was that like, getting that ball in different situations?
I didn't mind it at all. I wanted to do anything I could to help the team win, and, whether that be ready to make a start or come out of the bullpen for an inning or so. It's different, I feel, coming out of the bullpen when you're already built up as a starter. You have all those pitches, and, you're used to being able to throw 100 pitches as opposed to coming from the bullpen and, say your max is around 30, and then you have to go out there for 50 or 60. I feel like that's where you're going to have the wear and tear, but I was already built up for 100 pitches, and I was getting extra days and stuff on top of that. So, I felt good coming out of the pen, especially in the postseason, and being able to contribute whichever way I can.
What's the adrenaline like, though, coming out in the 8th inning?
Yeah, the adrenaline, it's a whole nother level as opposed to starting. I feel like that first inning, you go out there and you're good to go, and then that second, third, you're kind of locking into your own mechanics, and you're just settling into the game. But coming out of the bullpen, that long run, and you're coming in for one inning, and then you got, Kimbrel coming in and closing it, or, Joe Barnes, and Brage, any of those guys coming out of the bullpen to clean up your mess if you get in trouble, or be able to finish it.
Weren't many messes. That's a good thing. Welcome back. I know everyone's so excited to have you here for a full season. Enjoy it.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
The birthday boy, Nathan Eovaldi, spent a little time with us here in Fort Myers.